We're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. Practice number 4 for the Cincinnati Bengals as they prepare for the 2024 NFL season. Dave Lapham was at practice today. Lap, news we don't want to hear. You don't want to hear about injuries, and the Bengals may have suffered one. We don't know yet, but Sam Hubbard was showing signs of coming back from the injuries he suffered a year ago, but maybe a little bit setback today.
Yeah, Sam, unfortunately, about an hour and a half into practice, one of the last team periods, Sam came off the football field with a little bit of an issue with the knee, went back in, came off a second time saying basically it just wasn't feeling right. And the trainers examined it. You know, they do that push-pull, testing the stability of the knee. And it seemed like it was, I mean, who knows? It didn't look like it was anything terrible at that point in time. There was no huge reaction by anybody. But you know what, Dave? These guys are so strong, man. Their quads, hamstrings, attachments, everything's so strong. You just can't really tell if they suffered any kind of a injury. I mean, you can pop an MCL, and these guys, so strong, they walk off the field, don't even know it, or some sort of a cartilage issue or whatever the case may be. So bottom line is they shut him down. He walked off the field really well under his own power. Went to get pictures taken, and hopefully fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything's crossed that it's not serious. Maybe just a pinch or something, who knows? But it was not good to see Sam Hubbard walk off the football field and not able to finish practice. And Trey Hendrickson missed another practice today with that sternum problem that he has. He got popped in the chest and hasn't practiced since day one. So he sat out today's activity. Erick All, the rookie tight end from Iowa, he was cleared off of the non-football injury list. He passed his physical. He was cleared to start to practice. Now that they're going to ramp him up, it's not like he just comes right off of non-football injury list and is going, full tilt, full speed every drill. It was good to see the big 6'5", 230-pounder out there getting, or 6'5", 250-plus pounder out there getting some things done. I'll tell you, the wide receiver that they just recently signed, Hakeem Butler, 6'5", 227-pounder out of Iowa State. He made some plays today. I mean, he was making contested catches. He's got a big catching radius, long body. I mean, they love these big, tall tight ends to have huge receivers and tight ends to have huge catching radiuses, and he fits that bill big time. B.J. Hill, big news. He dyed his hair. He lived up to his deal with Joe Burrow. His is not as blonde as Joe's. I don't know. It's not as good a product, I guess, as Joe's, but he did dye that hair blonde. So that was an interesting part of practice as well. Cam Taylor-Britt still recovering from the tonsillectomy. He did not go today either. The rain wasn't an issue. It did not curtail anything that they wanted to get done from a physical standpoint. They worked hard at practice and had a pretty good day, I thought. Overall.
Lap, another player that missed time, Cam Taylor-Britt, had his tonsils taken out, something that happens to many people as youth, still had him as an adult. But as we've talked about in previous episodes, when you miss, someone else is getting opportunities.
Yeah, that's the key with what's going on with this football team. Guys are stepping up, next man up. More reps are available to show what you can do, and many are taking full advantage of that. And there's a myriad of reasons why that might be the case. It might be a veteran day off. It might be injury related. It might be a tonsillectomy. It might be whatever. The other thing that goes on, Dave, during the course of training camp is I love to see these contested catch situations, because on a contested catch, defensively, usually it's very solid coverage, but you're just not finishing. I mean, if the offense makes the play on the football, you're just not finishing. You got to get the ball off the receiver somehow. You got to get that done. But the fact is that you're in good position, just got to finish. Now, the negative is offensively, your route running may not be up to snuff. You're not getting enough separation, but you're finishing. You're a high point in the football. You have strong hands and all that sort of thing. So in a contested catch situation, if it's an incompletion, defense has had a great rep. They got great coverage, and they got the ball off the receiver. If in a contested catch situation, the offense makes a play, they didn't necessarily run the greatest route, didn't get separation, but they finished with strong hands and high pointing the football. So it's real interesting seeing these contested catch battles. I mean, guys were living and dying with these, and there's a bunch of them that crop up at every single practice. And guys at this training camp, just like training camps that I remember participating in, you want to earn reps. You want to earn reps, even in the training camp and in the preseason games. And the way you earn those reps is with consistent practice rep performance, and you start to build trust with your teammates and your coaches. That's all important, and that's the trust starts from day one. Receivers have to be exactly where the quarterback wants them to be, and now you get to a point where as a player you get into training camp, you understand the playbook, but now you not only want to be able to regurgitate assignments and know what you're supposed to do, you want to know why you're supposed to do it. And there are guys on this football team that have a very, very big understanding, a very deep understanding of why. And Mike Gesicki is one of those guys. This guy is one of those football savants that just understands the game at a very high level and sees the football field at a very high level. I think he's going to really help the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm telling you, man, when he gets in the slot, this guy is a big target with a huge catching radius that can run. I mean, he's going to be an interesting guy. Slot reps are going to be really, really interesting. Yossi Vash obviously is in the mix there. He's taken a lot of slot reps. He hadn't taken any up to this season. There's Burton is in the mix. There's a ton of guys. I mean, it's going to be by committee, but it's going to be interesting to see how it carves out. Who takes what kind of percentage of reps in the slot, and you got edge rushers that are taking advantage of additional snap opportunities we talked about. Osai is one of those guys. Akeem Davis-Gaither is one of those guys. The wide receivers are taking advantage of reps that are available to them because, they've got Jamar Chase did not practice again today. Of course, he was out there, but he wasn't going. T. Higgins did go. He was out there getting it done, but he's had his veteran day rest period. So edge guys, receivers, it's when you get an opportunity to step up and you're not only stepping up for additional reps, but it's with another group of guys. As a trickle up effect. You're going maybe with another quarterback that you hadn't had reps with, who's a little bit higher on the totem pole. You're going with other receivers in the huddle and other linemen in the huddle. You're working with different groups, and if you can show yourself worthy in those situations, that can do nothing but help you. Not only with this football team, but like we talked about with 31 other football teams around the league or other leagues potentially, to keep your pro career alive. So that part of it's always very interesting on a daily basis. And one thing that Zach Taylor is known around the NFL is for giving players, an equitable opportunity to make his football team. He is very, very fair about the reps that he gives to everybody, and he understands the importance of them. And if you come to Cincinnati, it's going to be a square deal for you. And I think players and agents understand that. The interesting thing that's going on too, Dave, is in the punting situation, the Bengals have 3 punters now in camp. They've obviously got Brad Robbins. They signed Austin McNamara, and then they just picked up an additional punter, Ryan Rako. This guy, almost 6'5", 6'4.5", 235 pounds, rookie out of BYU. He hit a 70-yarder with 5.6 hang time. I mean, it was unbelievable. He was pounding the football today, and he hit it as well yesterday. The Bengals were very interested in him, and they lost him in a little bit of a free agent bidding war, and then he was let go here right away. They only kept him around for like 3 months, went with another punter, and he was their guy. He was the guy that they had targeted to come and compete with Brad Robbins. They signed McNamara when he signed with another NFL team. Now he's let go. They bring him in because they had him ranked so highly, coming out of college. And when they worked him out, they really liked him. So now it's a 3-man competition, and it'll be knocked down to a 2-man competition, I think, fairly quickly here. But you think that there's a significant competition going on right now between McNamara and this big 6 foot, almost 5-inch Ryan Rakal. There's a battle going on there. It's crazy. It's interesting to watch that competition. And Darren Simmons has got himself some guys that can boom that football as punters.
Lap, you've been around a long time, and that was someone had asked on Twitter about that situation. You draft a punter a year ago in the draft, and you thought enough of him to draft him when usually a lot of punters get signed as free agents, and all of a sudden you bring in this guy, off the streets, and as you said, he's going to give people a run for their money. You got these three guys battling it out right now. Robbins probably should not be sleeping too comfortably over the next few weeks as long as this competition continues.
Oh, there's serious competition there, and but he did a good job in the offseason. He put on about 10 or 15 pounds of good weight, and he's much stronger punting the football as well. So he realized he had things to work on, and he's showing improvement. It's a battle. It's going to be a battle royale. But knowing Darren Simmons, there's one thing that he's not going to do is have a repeat performance of what he went through last year. He was not a happy camper at all with what took place last year, and wants to make sure that there's no repeat performances there.
Yeah, he had a lot of seasons there, Kevin Huber. You knew what you were getting every season until the very end, and I'm sure he'd like to find that again with whoever would win this punting job going into this season.
Yeah, I mean that's something that you'd that you'd like to have some consistency of performance. And boy, I'll tell you what, you talk about a guy that's been a consistent performer in the kicking area of it, Evan McPherson. I think he's only missed one, and it's when he had McNamara holding for him, and they were kind of new to each other. I think that's the only field goal that I've heard. I didn't see that one that was missed, but my understanding is that's the only field goal that's been missed in 4 days of kicking. So McNamara is doing his thing, man. He's hitting in a very, very high percentage, and he's hitting from long distances as well. And they've got themselves a deep snapper that they feel very good with Ed Midas, and so they're very confident in their snapper. They like their place kicker a lot. They want to make sure they've got the right operation going at that punting position.
Lap, let me get back to Jamar Chase. People all over the internet are, frustration from the fan side of it. When do you get concerned on a player? Because it's totally different than a guy who's holding out, sitting at home, not doing anything. Jamar Chase, looks in great shape when he was down at practice the other day. He's involved. He may not be running a rep, but he is involved in what's going on. He's almost like another coach out there. We know the history between him and Joe Burrow. That's not going away because that's a long history. It's not just a one-season deal. When does it get concerning if you're a fan as Jamar continues and his people continue to negotiate with the Bengals on the extension of a contract? And he's probably being smart in today's world with the money that we're talking about. And he's looking at the longevity of his career, not just a 1 or 2 year deal. He's looking at a multiple year extension with a lot of money on the line. And when would you say, fans, hey, get concerned now?
Well, I don't think they should be concerned now. If they're concerned with Jamar Chase, they should be concerned that Trey Hendrickson's only practiced once, out of 4 days. And that's because of an injury, and guys get veteran days. I mean, it's very early in training camp, and Jamar Chase is doing the exact same thing that Trey Hendrickson is doing when he's not able to practice. And that's working with his teammates, giving advice, supporting his teammates and all that sort of thing. I mean, bottom line is the National Football League, all it is one big business. And this is, the side of the business that's not always the most pleasant, not only for fans, but particularly for the players and the negotiating team that's trying to work the contract out. So it's very early yet. I certainly wouldn't be concerned because, as you said, Jamar Chase is in great shape. All they've played so far is underwear ball. He's not fallen behind by any stretch of the imagination. Everything that's been installed right now, he's done 100 times. It's the basic of basics. So I think they're making the best out of a tough situation, and hopefully it's not prolonged too much longer, and they can come to terms and get something done. I mean, obviously, you'd love to see him get both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase done. Well, T. Higgins is taken care of for this year, but at the end of this year, it's going to be what's going on with T. Higgins again, and then hopefully they get Jamar Chase done for more than a year, and they've got security at one of those great positions with a great player. So I mean, it's the nature of the beast. It's part of the game. I know fans have no interest in the business part of the game, but it is part of the game, unfortunately.
You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. As always, we can't say enough about what First Star Logistics has done for In the Trenches with Dave Lapham over the last few years as we've continued to build this. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share In the Trenches with Dave Lapham on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from. Lap, before we let you go here, things start heating up a little bit more. We've got 4 days down. We've got a couple more practices up, then a day off, and then things really start heating up from here on out, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, on Tuesday, it's the first day of pads. So that's when the rubber meets the road a little bit differently. And, I'm liking what I see out of a lot of linemen, offensive and defensive linemen. But, it's not pads. So we'll see if I like I really like what I'm seeing out of Sheldon Rankins. I like what I'm seeing out of Miles Murphy. I'm liking what I see out of a lot of the offensive linemen as well. I mentioned that Orlando Brown, I think, is in unbelievable shape. I think he's focused on having a really big year. Alex Kappa has impressed me. I mean, he's really bending really well at the knees. I mean, he looks like he's in good football shape and ready to rock and roll as well. We talked about Joseph Asai off the edge, with the H-boys, Hendrickson and Hubbard being out. I mean, a lot of these guys, they look like, boy, you can tell they've really worked hard, diligence, both physically and mentally. And now the final stage of it is going to be put the pads on. And that's when, it's more real football. Now, they won't be tackling and all that sort of thing, but in the line of scrimmage, it'll be a pretty good thump. It'll be at a full pace. But they won't be trying to finish each other to the ground and all that sort of thing. Won't be cut blocking and anything like that. But that's when physicality is going to show itself. And in the game of football, we talk about Mims, how he looks really good. Well, it starts with his feet. Like Willie Anderson talked about basketball feet. I mean, he can really move his feet. And then it starts with your feet and gets you in position to make a play, and then finish with your hands. And he's got vice grip hands. And hand placement and hand strength and all those things start to show up once the pads come on and guys start playing, adult football at the line of scrimmage. I'm looking forward to that starting on Tuesday.
I cannot wait to see Mims in pads going full speed. I think that's going to be a day everyone kind of wakes up and goes, oh my goodness, the Cincinnati Bengals may have the biggest steal out of the past NFL draft.
The only time I saw Sam Hubbard beat Mims inside one time, and it wasn't because of a physical issue, it was a mental issue. He set too far outside. He gave up the inside. It was a mental issue. Physically, this guy, if he sets properly, he's not going to get beaten inside very often. He's not going to get beaten outside very often. And I'm anxious to see him in pads as well, Dave. I'm anxious to see this guy get it done on the edge.
Lap, can't say enough. Always appreciate the opportunity to get with you following a practice in preseason to talk about what the Bengals are doing. You have been in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. Again, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell friends about the YouTube channel. Also, wherever you get your podcast from, most episodes are available. Lap, as always, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk again following another Cincinnati Bengals practice.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.